I'm Will, and this is Origami Cybertruck. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about something very interesting that I've seen happen lately with Tesla in the marketplace. And that is this very rapid shift that I think is a long time in coming, where for a long time, Tesla was kind of ignored. Elon was sort of, almost disparaged as like this sort of like dreamer who is going to take on the established auto industry. What is this crazy little startup going to do? Whatever. And for a long time, they were just kind of disregarded. But all of a sudden, we've been seeing this really big shift. And I think it's really fascinating for a bunch of different reasons. Now, this shift has been happening in the investment space where, the kind of core thesis of Tesla's plan has been finally started to be understood by the investment community overall. There's a lot of people on YouTube like, myself and a lot of other YouTubers out there who have understood what Tesla's doing for a while, but the overall market hasn't really understood what's happening and where they're kind of going and how they're disrupting this market. But I don't want to talk about that today, even though I think that that is a fascinating topic in and of itself. Maybe I'll do a video about that at some point. Today, I want to talk about how other people in the space are now all of a sudden shifting their viewpoint to be very much in line with Tesla. And I think this is a great thing that is happening because it is an admission that Tesla is not only shifting the entire industry as they have been trying to do for this whole time since they were founded, accelerating the transition to renewable and sustainable energy, electrified transportation in particular, but also how, from an industry perspective, we see that, and also how, as an individual company, they are being now widely acknowledged as the leader in a lot of explicit and implicit ways. So let's check this out a little bit because I think this is just super interesting. All right. The first one who's really, I think, starting to understand this and get this is Herbert Diess. Now, Diess is the CEO of the Volkswagen Group. And, he's been we've been seeing him, at the announcement of like the Gigafactory Berlin. He was on stage with Elon when Elon announced that. He's been kind of cozying up to Elon. I think he's trying to maybe absorb some of Elon's star power. But anyway, be that as it may, I just think this is really interesting because check this out. Okay. VW is the first one to really start going a little bit more toward Tesla's way of seeing things, at least in terms of its public acknowledgement. Check this out. Elon Musk is taking risks we couldn't. And see, check this out. This is funny. So I think we're making a good pair because he's pulling ahead. We are fast followers. We're trying to keep up as closely as possible. Now, this is really interesting because previously, VW was saying, we're going to be the leaders in electrified and electric vehicles. And now there's this shift. We're going to be fast followers of Tesla. Okay, this is both an explicit and an implicit acknowledgement that Tesla is the leader in electric transportation. He also said, previously he said, we're quite optimistic we can keep the pace with Tesla and probably at some stage overtake. But then now we're trying to keep as close as possible. So this is really, I don't know, I think that that's fascinating. Now check this out. This is interesting. BMW just released this i4 concept car. It's their latest electric-only concept car. If it comes to market, it would be their second electric-only car after the i3. The i8 doesn't count because it's actually a hybrid for a pure electric vehicle. But just look at this. I think this is really fascinating because, I read a lot of comments and internet, stuff where people are talking about BMW and the German manufacturers. The interiors are so luxurious. People are talking about how, they love the German design and how luxurious this all is. But now check this out, okay? We're going to see a ton of Tesla-inspired design. So Tesla's not just pulling the market forward in terms of their the overall business model, but even from a design standpoint. Okay, look at this for a minute here. What do you notice about this? It's a very simple, very clean design for the interior. There's no extraneous buttons. I mean, it's a different aesthetic, to be sure, than the Model 3, but this is very Model 3 inspired, in my opinion. We've got one big screen, whereas the Model 3 has a center-only touch screen. But look at this uncluttered interior. This isn't the, sumptuous, luxurious interior that people kind of go on about online sometimes. This is a very minimalist interior. And this is their concept for the future. Look at that all-glass roof. That's coming from Tesla's design language as well. I mean, this is straight out of the Model Y coming up in the Model 3 as well. It just kind of blows me away. Very simple seats. We don't see a lot of, all kinds of stuff that we might normally see in a BMW. Okay, I found that interesting. Now, here's another really interesting data point. The Tesla Model S is the new American dream car. This was from AutoWise.com. They came up with this dream cars by state, and they used some geotagged Twitter data. Everywhere that you see this red color is where the Model S, during the study that they conducted, was like the car most associated with dream car. All right? That's really interesting to my mind because, we don't see BMW on there. We don't see Mercedes on there. We see Corvette, Camaro, Range Rover, Ford Mustang, Jeep Wrangler, and the Tesla Model S. This is fascinating. Now check this out. This is GM, and they just revealed a new architecture that's the foundation of their future plans. Look at this. This is the skateboard technology that Tesla pioneered in terms of in commercial market, starting with the Model S. Okay, we've got a battery here in the bottom, low, no ridiculous transmission vestigial tunnel here. Up front and up back, we have the possibility for electric motors, and otherwise this very simple platform that you can build anything off of. This is pure, and it even says so here, Tesla-inspired direction. I mean, previously to this, we saw, even with from the ground up designs like the BMW i3, we saw this wonky, almost shoehorning of battery packs and electric motors and all of the goodies that you need into that space. And they're still caught in this mindset of a gas car, and what are we going to do to kind of get this stuff in there. Now with the Ford Mustang Mach-E, we're seeing finally somebody put that together from the ground up. And what are they going to do? They're going to use the skateboard. GM, they're unveiling a platform. What are they using? Skateboard. Rivian, skateboard. Granted, they're not a traditional auto manufacturer. BMW, certainly they're going to be using a skateboard for this i4. So Tesla is taking their business model and they're pushing the industry forward with that. Their technology, they're pushing the industry forward with that. And we're really finally starting to see people copying them. I would argue not all the time super impressively, but definitely copying them. Okay, at this point you might be wondering, who cares? What's the big deal if GM's copying the skateboard layout, or if BMW is adopting a minimalist touchscreen centered architecture for their next generation cars? Who cares? Well, I think it's important for a couple of different reasons. Let's take the smaller consideration first. I'm a Tesla enthusiast and investor. I want to see them do really well as a company because I think that companies that are doing good things for the world should be rewarded. They're pushing us towards sustainable technology and transportation and energy, and we desperately need that. This is going to be something that would happen maybe eventually, but we've got a climate crisis going on, and we need to push this thing forward. So I want to see Tesla rewarded in the marketplace because they're a great company that is doing this very important work. The more that they're rewarded in the marketplace, the more they're going to be able to push that technology forward with this mission-driven approach that they have. I want Tesla to do well because, again, I'm invested in them. We kind of see Tesla almost as like an Apple in the smartphone industry. They're disrupting the phone industry. before it creating kind of a new product or taking a bunch of pre-existing technologies, refining them, making them work together seamlessly, and then create this great new product that everybody wants. So today, even though Apple doesn't make the majority of the cell phones in the world, they do collect the majority of the profits of the cell phones in the world. And that's important for Tesla as a company. I think that there's a good chance that we're going to see something very similar to that in the automotive industry, where Tesla's not going to create the majority of the cars out there, 10 years from now. Certainly today, they create a very small percentage of the world's automobiles. But I do think that there's a good chance that we're going to see Tesla continue to be the it car, and in even more so over time. And that's important because when you're the one that everybody is looking to, when not just the consumers, but also the other industry players are looking to you to copy and be inspired from you, that means that you're doing something right and you're not just one step ahead, but many steps ahead of the competition. And they're constantly in this game of trying to play catch up. That's where you want to be. That's where Apple is with smartphones, especially, with earlier iPhones, Android and these other, all the makers of Android phones are trying to catch up to Apple and trying to not best them, but just get to there. So Apple's able to pull the market forward, pull all those profits forward out of the rest of the market and be very, very profitable, even though they're not making the majority of smartphones. But that's kind of a parochial concern. And that's not the most important reason because, okay, cool, we're making money here, but this is about saving our planet and keeping it habitable for us as humans. And the bigger effect here is that Tesla can pull the market forward. Whatever Tesla does from this point onward, the other auto manufacturers are going to have to copy and try to replicate. Tesla, who is charting a course forward to a sustainable energy and transportation future, can drag these other manufacturers kicking and screaming if need be, but they're pointing the direction now. And this is crucially important. So anyway, just wanted to give you my thoughts on this. It was kind of one of my bigger ideas. I like some of these things, and I also like the little details, but I don't do a lot of, daily news kind of stuff because I think the daily news is kind of interesting and important in some respects, and I'm not poo-pooing it, but I like to think about how these larger forces are going to be shaping the future. And this is kind of one of those videos. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, subscribe, share it with friends, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you have. So until next time, this is Will. See ya.